Hello and welcome to Business Incorporated live on Channels Television. Here's what's coming up. Well, we track the markets post MPC decision, where the MPC decided to hold rates. Now we see egg prices in Egypt deep 35% as new farmers enter operations. There we see a huge dip in prices. And Uganda's national oil firm discovers major new crude reserves. It's great to have you join us. I'm Ladi Williams. You see this last trading week of November. That's moving on along now, but definitely we're seeing some reprieve in some markets at this time. Let's get a check now on what's playing out with oil prices. We're seeing, oil prices first. Yeah, we see a big drop there, 0.50%. Earlier we did see some, the market try to get back up, but $62.17 a barrel, that's the trade right there. For Brent crude, WTI crude, still sub $60, trading at $52.72, down 0.40%. Let's get a quick check now on what's playing out with gold prices. We're seeing gold prices in the green there, 4,158. I guess at this point, the question is the rally back on for metals? Looking like that for this last trading week of November. U.S. gold futures, 4,155. But spot silver, that's the one that's shining right now, $52. $52 per ounce, 2.04% up. Platinum, palladium, not left out of the party there, $1,574 per ounce for platinum, and palladium, that's up 0.43%. So it's looking good right there in the metals market. All right, so other stories now. The African continent, we see Uganda has uncovered roughly 600 million barrels of additional crude oil in its Lake Albert Basin. The country's state oil company announced this today. The discovery comes from 9 potential wells in the Kasarubin block, a licensed area newly added to Uganda's oil portfolio. If confirmed, the find will significantly boost the basin's already sizable resource base, reinforcing Uganda's growing profile as a major upstream oil-producing nation ahead of first oil. Then we see in North Africa, Egypt, now the prices, we see egg prices in Egypt have plunged sharply, surprising consumers as the cost of eggs have fallen despite recent volatility in the poultry market right there in Egypt. White eggs retail prices dropped by about 12 to 13%, according to recent data, part of a broader swing in poultry and egg markets where meat prices are rising even as staple items get cheaper. Industry watchers say the decline may ease pressure on household budgets and spark shifts in consumption habits across the country in Egypt. So I guess that's a good story there. That's a good one in Egypt. That's the cheapest source of protein. That's expensive in some other countries right now. Even in Nigeria, eggs are not cheap. All right, let's get a check on other matters now. See, still in Egypt, actually, Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference has formally invited Egypt to join a tariff-free export initiative covering 53 African countries, a move expected to expand trade opportunities and strengthen economic cooperation across the continent. The offer was conveyed during a high-level meeting between the CPPCC Vice Chairperson and Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli in Cairo. The invitation signals Beijing's renewed interest in deepening trade ties with Africa and positions Egypt as a potential gateway for African goods seeking access to Chinese markets under more favorable trade terms. All right, to other trade matters now. We see United States Senator John Kennedy has introduced a bill seeking a 2-year extension of the African Growth and Opportunity Act, but with an explicit exclusion of South Africa. The proposal was submitted to the Senate at the end of September, shortly after AGOA officially expired, ending the program's 25-year run. The bill has been referred to the Committee of Finance, but no further action has been taken on that. So we'll definitely be looking out for that. And also, still in South Africa, South Africa's state-owned Transnet Engineering has unveiled its new 23E Trax locomotive fleet. The entity views this as a significant milestone after prolonged delays caused by global supply chain disruptions, COVID-19 shutdowns, and shipping backlogs. They slowed the delivery of critical components, stalling assembly lines, and delaying production targets. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, has more.
The Group Chief Executive of Transnet SOC, Advocate Michelle Phillips, says the unveiling of Transnet Engineering's new 23 e-trucks locomotive fleet marks a critical turning point for the state-owned rail infrastructure.
The country looks to Transnet to support broad industrial development in key commodity segments. The strategy repositions us to better serve our customers and key supply chains such as mining and manufacturing. Increasing locomotive availability unlocks capacity, enabling transit freight rail to sustainably handle increased volumes.
Phillips also underscored the importance of private-public partnerships. Transnet says the introduction of the 23E fleet is being positioned as a step towards restoring industrial capacity and boosting economic performance, but the questions remain about how much recovery those locomotives can realistically bring.
Yeah, so if you look at it, if we deliver about just 47 of these units in a year, they can actually earn us about 2 billion rand, which means that they're actually moving quite a lot of tonnages in a year. So 240 by the time in 2024 we started with ramping up, we were over 100, and now we're obviously sitting at locomotive 200 with having achieved the 43 in the last year.
But what economic returns does Transnet Engineering anticipate from completing the 23E fleet, and how will this influence future investments, regional trade efficiencies?
I hope that question will be different. What tonnages are we looking forward to enhance or to get? We are currently sitting at 160 million tons. We are looking into going into 180 tons with the TFR. We also want to see ourselves in the next few years doing the 250 million tons. So this is the objective. The main objective is to make sure that we move tons.
We're now at a beat rate of 6 locos per month, sometimes more, and that's up from 2 previously. So the partnership has been great. We've been very honest between Alstom and Transnet on where we needed to improve.
The rollout of the 23E trucks fleet is being closely watched as a potential boost for South Africa's rail sector and industrial recovery. From Durban, South Africa, Innocent Samosa, Channels Television News.
Thanks, Innocent. Well, let's drill down now what's playing out with the markets. We track starting with the African continent. Yes, it's the trading day right after the MPC made that decision to hold interest rates, and we saw that positive close yesterday after that meeting, and that has continued. Intraday, 0.18%, 144,000 level. That's been reclaimed right there by the NGX all-share index. So maybe, I guess, positive trend for the week. We'll see if that happens. Johannesburg Stock Exchange, 102, also a big recovery there after the drop on the previous trading day, 1.65% up right there for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Let's get a check now on North Africa. The EGX 30 marginally up, not at 40,000, 39,000, just a few points shy of that level. Now we see the Nairobi Stock Exchange closing big with a big drop, 1.93% yesterday at 182 points. Let's get a quick check now on the Gulf region. We see it's mostly mixed sentiment right there with in the UAE. Big drops at intraday, 5,793 points for the Dubai index, 0.50% down. Abu Dhabi index, 9,721, 0.41% down. Let's look at the Saudi and Qatari index. Just the Qatari index, that's a lone gainer, 10,664, 0.54% up, and the Tadawul down 0.84%. Let's get a check now on the U.S. Markets. That's for the stock futures. They rose mildly today. Wall Street is looking to build on, back-to-back winning sessions. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's up 0.21%, 47,278 points. S&P futures 0.27%, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq. So I guess this week we're seeing, some reprieve for most of the markets that were hammered last week. Alphabet shares tick higher by more than 1% in pre-market Chip maker Broadcom also gained about around 1%. So we're seeing that positive sentiment continue this last trading week of November. Let's get a check now on Asia. And markets in Asia also rose. Nikkei, 1.85%. Kospi, 2.67%, up 3,960. Hang Seng Index, 0.13% up. Let's get a check now on other markets in Asia. We see that for the Nifty 50, that's not left out of the party. 1.24% to close, 26,205 points. So yes, looking quite positive for most of these markets that were hammered last week. Let's get a check now on Europe. A hot topic now in Germany is the pension debate. The German parliament, they're holding major debates on government policies. Well, let's talk to Vada Imrak right there. Great to have you, Vada. But first off, let's check on the markets. Is it looking as positive as we're seeing in other markets?
On this gray day in Berlin, investors are still processing comments from the European Central Bank from earlier today. Basically, they advised Eurozone lenders with big businesses in the U.S. and in U.S. dollars to bulk up on the dollar for liquidity and capital cushioning to withstand more volatility from the U.S. president. Now, the ECB had the same message for banks since Trump introduced new tariffs, but this time the message was sharp. The handful of large Eurozone banks active in dollars need to prepare. There's also optimism on the market here on the news of a potential end to the Ukraine war. Analysts are surprised that stock markets have become so optimistic about the end of this war. The DAX is in green today, well, fluctuating a little bit, but pretty much in the green today with rises of 0.1%. And so are the other European indices, with Stock 600 up 0.4% and Stock 50 up 0.6%.
All right, I guess it's up and up for most of these markets. But Vada, a pension is a big topic in Germany right now. Tell us about the debate surrounding it.
Yes, Laddie, you're absolutely correct. Pension is a rather important and somewhat sensitive topic here in Germany. It was even a big talking point of the ruling parties before they were elected. But let's first talk about the current system, right? So today's retirees are financed by today's workers. That makes sense, through mandatory contributions. Retirement age is basically 67 at the moment, and pension promises these workers 48% of their average income back if you have worked 45 years. Now, a new pension bill that has already been approved by Friedrich Merz's cabinet ties average pension levels to wages until 2031. Now, what this does is this keeps retirees' purchasing power aligned with the working population. Now, the dispute is over what happens after 2031. The Social Democrat Party wants to push for an extension of this, saying that workers of the future deserve long-term certainty. But the big question is how much of this pension reform will cost and who will budge at the end?
Yeah, and I guess it all comes down to who can finance future pension plans. Is the government's plan sustainable?
Yeah, exactly. So that depends on who you ask, right? Parts of the government want to continue keeping pension at 48%. But the youth chapter of Merz's CDU party is completely against this. They say that this must be reduced by 1% and it would save hundreds of billions of euros in the coming years. The youth chapter also argued that such high pension rates will burden future workers. But the Social Democrats, who have promised this reform to voters, is not going to back down. And it seems like the youth chapter isn't going to back down either. Now, consider this against the current economic backdrop of Germany, where third quarter numbers show again stagnation in the economy. So one thing is clear: if there is no solution to this pension debate, the cracks in this government will start to show.
All right. Well, I guess it's wait to see at this point. We'll keep tracking those debates. Thank you so much, Vada, for the updates.
Thanks, Laddie.
All right, so now we turn our attention to one of the most critical or significant industries and transformative shifts in global digital economy. We're seeing the rise of Web3, from blockchain-enabled finance to decentralized identities, smart contracts, tokenized assets, and digital ownership. Web3 is reshaping how businesses, creators, and consumers interact with technology. In Nigeria, one of Africa's fastest-growing tech ecosystems, Web3 presents a massive opportunity to drive innovation, deepen financial inclusion, and unlock digital markets and power the next generation of startups. Join us now for this conversation. We have Faithfulness Obasi Kalu. She's the country manager at Vontech. We also have Obinna Iwuno, President CBAN. Great to have you both.
Yeah, thank you, Ladi. Great having you too.
Fantastic.
Thank you as well.
I guess at this point I'll go with ladies first. I'll start with you, Faithfulness. How would you describe, the current state of Web3 adoption in Nigeria, and where the strongest momentum is coming from? I know most of the traders, all they care about is, trading most of these, Web3 tokens. But what are you seeing so far?
I would say, thank you for the question. I would say that so far, and you're very correct when you say that a lot of the Web3 conversations around trading, I see that a lot of young people are, taking advantage of the fact that it almost seems like a get rich quick thing. But more than that is that there's so many use cases that are being built upon that are mind blowing. So just the sheer idea of the fact that you can build something that is, I don't know, it's so beautiful to see, right? So the startups that I'm seeing and the way that the Web3 is going is, I think it would be revolutionary, especially with the fact that when you incorporate that with AI, you incorporate that with a lot of the cloud solutions that we're seeing, I think it will be revolutionary.
Right. You did mention, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Is it a get-rich but maybe slower scheme?
Say that again.
You said it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. So I'm saying, is it a get-rich but maybe slower pace? Is that it?
So I think it depends on the route that you're taking. If you're taking the trading route, which is you just want to learn to trade, you can get rich quick off there, but you can also cry heavily on there as well. But if you're taking the route of being a builder, which is where I'm more interested in, I would rather that you build solutions that last, solutions that would actually make a difference in Nigeria, make a difference in Africa, because I'm seeing a lot of startups who are building amazing things. And that's, I think, what the program that Vontech is doing in collaboration with CBAN as well, which I think we're still going to talk about. But yes, it's not necessarily just you can get rich quick, but you can also build to last and build forever income,
Right.
And not just for yourself, but for Nigeria as well. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's all, do something, for the country
Yeah.
At this point. Let me come to you, Obinna. What specific opportunities, do you think Web3, creates for Nigerian businesses, creators, and developers?
Okay, so for Nigeria, Web3 is a no-brainer. I mean, it is the way to go for our country because it presents us with a lot of opportunity for growth, right? We are moving to the third generation of the internet, right? And that is what the Web3 is, Web 3.0. And this generation of the internet is going to be powered by the blockchain technology. Now, what is needed? That era of the internet are going to need people who build the solutions that will scale from the second generation infrastructures we have in the second generation to the third generation. So you see, it opens doors to a new skill set, not eroding the current skill sets, but it opens doors to a new skill set, which means that new people, the ecosystem and the industry is ready to take in new people. It is ready to have new people onboarded into it. And this is where the opportunity lies. Nigeria ranks second in adoption globally. And that means Nigeria is not just a global player, but at the top in Africa. What I see here is an opportunity for Nigeria to become the #1 exporter of blockchain talent, jobs, and solutions across the world. Just look at it from what India has done with tech. Starting from the wake of the new millennium, they had a strategy, a direction for tech in their country. And you saw a lot of Indians going into school, just to study tech. No time to waste on, studying how to draw a grasshopper that you have no business to use, or how to knit a sweater that you are not trying to become a fabric maker. They just went straight into tech. And that is the opportunity that's presented itself before us in Web3, right? So we need to start onboarding massively into the ecosystem. Young people, this our teeming young population and youths, which is the #1 and largest workforce in the world, into the Web3 ecosystem to learn how to build solutions. Now, when they build those solutions, it becomes solutions for businesses. What does that do? With the rise of new solutions and innovation is the creation of new businesses. So we will see a whole new business sector open up. And once this business sector opens up, it's going to contribute in employment because it will need new people and a lot of people actually to serve it. It's going to contribute in revenue generation because people are going to be paying for those services. Then it is also going to contribute to foreign direct investment because any lucrative sector would always attract people who have the means and the liquidity that they are always seeking for means to multiply it. So if this ecosystem or our industry and our country presents such, it is going to attract that. So you will see that we are benefiting on actually 3 or more fronts. The first front is that we are achieving technological advancements with building in Web3. We are achieving the national development, right? Economic development by adding revenue to the government, right?
Okay.
And you can see also that the government is also growing the GDP of the country through the contribution of the Web3 ecosystem into the economy. So it has a lot of impact that is going to touch all around. And like I say, Web3 is the only sector that is able to absorb you no matter the sector that you are coming from.
Right. All right, let me go to faithfulness. Now, what kind of conversations, are being had, in the industry at this point to actually get, more Nigerian youths into that Web3 space? I don't think everybody is in there, yet, when it comes to the youth. What are you seeing?
So right now, what I see is a lot of peer-to-peer conversations happening, right? So even how I got into Web3 was through a friend of mine, right? She's actually called, she's known in the crypto space. I would just say crypto space because that's where she plays. But that's really what's happening right now, a lot of peer-to-peer. And also, I would say that if people want to get involved in Web3 or the training or just getting used to the idea of Web3, that they can actually check out different online platforms that actually teach Web3. And I'll give just a couple of examples. And even CBAN as well is one. You can actually join CBAN, join the community, and get access to information, vast information that is out there. And I think that's a step forward. Just, it's really simple. Go to your social media, search, and you find something. So something else that I would like to also add is the fact that, like Obina said, Web3 is where you can actually, it's something that absorbs you from wherever background that you're coming from. So whether you are a customer success manager, whether you are a PR person, whatever it is that you're doing in your normal 9-to-5 job, Web3 can actually absorb you. Even if you're a software engineer, you can actually learn to build on Web3. No matter what it is that you're doing, you can use those same skills, but you're just using it in a Web3 space. So I think there's also that fear of, okay, I need to get over the fact that I'm going to learn new things, I'm going to learn new terms, new terminologies that may sound weird or sound strange at first, but it really isn't. It's not crazy at all. It's really, really easy to learn. And I think just with the fact that you're on social media, because we get a lot of information from social media, I think that would be the easiest way to go. And then joining a very prestigious network like CBAN is also a way that you can go about doing that as well.
All right. I guess Web3 can also absorb me, at this point. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
you could.
Of course.
Thank you so much. It was great having both of you. We had the faithfulness Obasi Kalu, country manager, Vontech, and Obinna Iwuno is the president of Seban. You both have a great day.
Thank you, Ladi. So, right now, we at CBAN, we are doing a whole lot to, spread Web3 innovation in Nigeria and across Africa. And that is why we have partnered with Vontech. So Vontech is an AWS partner. And with Vontech, CBAN has assessed $100,000 AWS credits to support builders in the Web3 ecosystem. And like you rightly said, that Web3 can also absorb you, right? What we always tell people is, I do not want you to leave what you are doing to come into Web3. Okay. I want you to learn how you can integrate Web3 into what you are doing. So Ladi can become the #1 Web3 journalist.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was great having you both. Thank you. All right, so that's the show today. That's as much we can take. We've run out of time. Definitely, we're still tracking the markets. We'll give you more updates tomorrow. That's for the Thursday trade. We'll see if this sentiment continues. Thank you. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.